Well, good morning, midnight. And the title for the video today is I Explored Religions as a Young Man. I ran out of time in yesterday's video, so today's is more or less a continuation. As I said yesterday, the only 19th century religion I ever explored was the Mormons, although I also gave a brief look at the Jehovah's Witnesses faith. I was raised in the Assembly of God and preached my first sermon at age 14 in the largest church of that denomination in New Jersey. Throughout my adult years, I attended many different spiritual groups, most, but not all, Christian-oriented. I even became a Lutheran and a Methodist when attending those churches, since that was the only way I was allowed to be a guest speaker. Membership was required. When I met my spiritual mom, Reverend Dr. Mary Horgan, I became fascinated by New Thought religions like Science of Mind and Unity. These were more inclusive in their practice than most other denominations, although they also succumbed to the control of the de facto government by failing to address serious spiritual issues that prevented important topics from consideration. Indeed, I got a little bit sidetracked yesterday, and there's another topic that's come up that I'm going to probably be dealing with in the next video, but I touched on it briefly yesterday, and I hope to have some more information to do a video for the next one. But this subject of religion is really, really important to me. I have not looked at religion as most people do. Now, of course, I was taught, like I'm sure everybody else, that my religion is the best one. That the Assembly of God, that's the way it is. That's the closest spiritual truth you can attain. Well, as I said, when I was a teenager even, and a young man, I made it my point to go out of my way to learn what other people's ideas were. I didn't want to take something for granted because to me, the core thing of spirituality, and I want to make a distinction between religion and spirituality. Religion binds us. God does not bind us. Lucifer or dark forces bind us because that's what creates the control grid. And religion is about control. Spirituality is about liberation. It's about setting a person free to be able to love themselves and others. That's a hugely important distinction that I learned early on and have tried to practice that throughout my life. As I said, I became friends at one point with the ministers in both a Lutheran church and a Methodist church. And in each case, in order for me to be able to give talks and give sermons, I had to become a member. That was the rules of the denomination. And so I did. I became a Methodist, I became a Lutheran, and I had opportunity during the time that I was with those organizations to speak before those congregations. But I've actually given sermons and lectures in a lot of different churches and denominations, not all of which required membership. And then, as I said, I met Dr. Mary. And Dr. Mary, she became like an alternative mom, and she considered me the son she never had. And that's why I ended up being left, with her, a major portion of her estate, which was the home that I inherited, and had to fight because of the banker and his wife making a claim to the inheritance. They made a claim, and The claim never went to trial. There was a whole bunch of injustices that proceeded from that situation. But in any case, I ended up a month ago, a little over a month ago now, I guess, losing my home to the bankers. And that has broken my heart, and it pretty much broke my spirit. But in any case, New Thought religions were above and beyond what I had experienced before, for the simple reason that they did not have the I'm right and everybody else is wrong attitude. They were more open-minded, and they had people in them from all different kinds of denominations and other religions because of their open-mindedness. The drawback, which is true of virtually every denomination in the United States, the drawback is 501c3. The drawback is that they succumb to the government, which isn't really a government. It's a de facto institution run by criminals. And in order for the truth from being spread, the criminals imposed a rule that will allow you to be tax exempt, provided you don't talk about religion. I'm sorry, you don't talk about politics. Politics became a taboo subject because you have people that are running an unjust governmental system. They're running beyond the rules. They're exerting influence over other people to keep those people enslaved. That's what the monetary system did. And the governmental system was put in place by bankers, international bankers like the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, people that never earned any money on their own by doing any work. They stole everything that they could get their hands on, and they stole influence, and they bought the bar association, so to speak. They put attorneys in place to enforce, and got the police to enforce their con game. And the weakness of the New Thought churches is they went along with this like every other denomination did too. Of course, when I was a Methodist and a Lutheran, I didn't even know these things. I mean, I never even considered the political aspects. It wasn't till later, and really when I really got into it was when they tried to steal my house. That's when I really started studying the system that we live under. But I want you to understand that I don't take religious ideas for granted. I look for truth in everything. I look for that which will enable me to find a spark that is of a similarity, that I can love the Buddhists, that I can love the Hindus, that I can love the Muslims, that I can love the Jews, that I can love Christians of various sects, and even people in each of those other religions of various sects, that I can love those, especially those that have a spiritual bent, a spiritual inclination. And believe me, folks, everybody on earth has a spiritual inclination, with the exception of the cabal and those that make money their god and become atheistic, which is insane. Of course there's a creator. There has to be a creator. And the creator and life is not evolutionary. It's purposeful, and it's by design. And anybody that really studies that will understand that and see that. And these are things that are important to me. And I wanted you to understand that religion to me is not something that liberates us, but something that enslaves us. Spirituality, loving one another, is what liberates us. And that's where we need to go to establish the kingdom of heaven on earth in reality. So thank you again for listening, and I hope this makes sense to you, and God bless.